Hola, and welcome back to the SWRA podcast, where aging, wellness, and wisdom do intersect. I am your host, Maggie Lazar, and I am delighted to have you on. If this is your first time listening in, welcome. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. All right. It's been a while since we talked about health. I've been focusing on wisdom the last few podcasts. But I am fresh from a short 5-day vacation to the city of Antigua in Guatemala to enjoy Semana Santa, and I had a wonderful time. But one thing about my health that kind of caught my attention, we went on a tour, and as the guide, we had a guide started walking, and then I looked up, and there was a really steep hill. And I was like, oh, that's going to be a challenge. But I walked slow and I got up there. But I could feel my heart was pumping, but I was okay. Coming back, it's not bad. It's going to be tough on the knees, but it was okay. And then the next spot we were supposed to go to, here is another steep hill. Because, in these Central and South American cities, there's a lot of incline, right? I remember being in Chile, and to go to people's home, they live in the mountains. So they have multiple steps. And even here in Panama, if you go in the interior and you see where the indigenous people live, a lot of them, they have like a steep incline. But see, they are used to it and their body's conditioned to doing it. So the second time I looked up and I said, oh, I don't think I want to do this one. And then the guide said, well, you have the choice of taking a tuk-tuk for like 10 quetzales, which is about $1.30. And I said, oh, I'll take it. So I took it up again. Going down was fine. But then the last part of the trip to get back on the boat, there were multiple steps. And let me tell you, I got challenged with those. I was struggling and I was even wheezing at some point. And then I had to take a step back. I walked slow, I made it, but I wanted to kind of touch base on some of the restrictions and modifications that we may have to make, in our lives as we get older. I had COVID, and COVID was a disease that affected the lungs. And I remember right after COVID, I struggled and I got back to a certain normal, way, and I can walk and stuff, but I have to constantly be aware that I've had some damage and some restrictions. So my point is, as we get older, as our bodies are aging, we need to make adjustments and not in our mind thinking that we're going to push this body and pretend that we are in our 20s and 30s, because I see that all the time. People being in full denial, going to the gym and, working extra, using all these heavy weights. And I'm thinking, you're just hurting yourself, sis. You're hurting yourself. And those extreme diets, right? You're going to have something happen with your cholesterol because the body is aging and you have genetics. So you do the best you can and then adjust, understanding with the understanding that this body is aging. It doesn't matter what you do to it, it is aging. Even if somebody lives to be 100, eventually they're going to go. So why punish your body? And to me, it doesn't make any sense. But again, I'm not judging. If you want to go on this extreme diet, thinking you need to fit you have to weigh a certain amount of pounds to feel like, you got to get the Coca-Cola shape and don't you're gonna miss out on a lot of good things of life. If you don't use a drop of oil, a little pinch of salt, or anything in your diet, and you're eating all this dry, tasteless food, oh, I feel so sorry for you because food is God has created for you to enjoy. But I believe moderation is the name of the game, whether it's exercise, whether it's drinking, don't just drown yourself in water. That's dangerous too. Water intoxication is a thing. You drink when you feel thirsty. Your body will talk to you. I think the skill you have to learn is to learn to listen and be in tune with your body. When your body says stop, you stop. When your body says eat, you're hungry, you eat. When your body said it's time to sleep, you sleep. Listen, God designed it that way. So don't overly stress yourself and be unrealistic about your reality. Look in the mirror and see, yes, there are lines. Yes, gravity is no longer your friend. Sis, we are in this together. Let's be sensible. Let's be sensible about this body that God has given us. It is our temple. We need to take care of it. But extreme anything, it's never a good thing. All right, sis. So go out there, be a good human. Take care of yourself and get off that idea that you want to look like you did when you were 20, 30 years old. Those days are gone, never to return. I'm sorry to tell you. All right. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. God loves you and I love you. Au revoir. Bye.